welcome to Art with Ian. Today we are talking about how to draw a water drop. So first thing I'm going to do here is grab a brush. I'm just going to grab the hard round brush, I believe. Yeah, I think I'll use the hard round brush here. And first thing I'm going to do is create a layer and set that to multiply. I'm getting 50% gray. And then I'm going to draw basically the shapes of the water drops and have them completely filled in. And the reason I'm doing it this way instead of drawing an outline and then shading inside the outline is that I'm using like a reverse technique where you actually erase away value. And so that I basically, my shading, I'm actually pulling instead of pushing the shading, which we'll see here in a moment. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of refine my shapes using a hard round eraser for this, and the shapes will get more refined as I go, but just wanted to make sure that everything was feeling right. I duplicated the layer so that I would have a backup if I don't like what I do. A little bit more shape refining. And so now I'm grabbing a soft round eraser, and I'm starting to erase away where the light actually passes through the water drop. Now if you look at water drops and kind of study them a little bit, you'll notice that where the light actually hits the water drop is a kind of a heavy shadow, and then there's a little pinprick of light, and then all that light scatters within the water and comes out the other side because it's translucent. Water is translucent. So right now that's what we're doing, is we're just establishing where all that scattered light is going to actually pass through the droplet. Doing a little bit more edge refinement there while I add the eraser. Now I'm getting a hard round pressure brush and creating a new layer set to multiply, and I'm just going to start to cast a shadow now. Because remember, the light is hitting the left side of these drops. We haven't actually established that light hitting it yet, but I know that that's where I'm going to put the light, so the shadows need to be on the right. I could have used the lasso tool to do this and then just cleaned it up with an eraser, but my natural instincts are always to grab like a brush and actually draw and paint more than to use like selection tools. But lasso tool probably would have been quicker, considering I'm still going to have to get in there with an eraser and clean it up anyways. But anyways, it's just kind of my natural way. So yeah, just going now, refining those shadow shapes. And again, these are going to get feathered. I'm just trying to establish, with a really solid brush, I'm trying to establish the deepest shadow shape, so that when I come in and I actually do my feathered work, I'm just feathering out that I'm putting halftone at the edge. I'm not trying to build a super deep dark shadow with a feathered brush. That's just annoying to do. So and if I was doing this, like if I was going to do this for like some kind of specific work I was doing, like for a client or something, I would probably zoom in. I didn't actually zoom in a single time on this, if I recall. So it's one of those, I'm trying to get it done pretty quickly so that this video isn't very long, but you still get, you still learn the technique I'm using without having to sit and watch me noodle it, zoom in and noodle the details too extensively. So now we're just deepening those shadows on the left side where the light's actually hitting, which seems really weird to say, shadows where the light's hitting, but that's what makes water drops look like water drops. So now we're hitting that bright pinprick of light, and I'm probably gonna, just refine those shapes, just try and make it feel like the light's actually hitting a rounded object a little bit, kind of, distort those shapes a little bit. Now I've created a new layer and I've set it to overlay. I've got kind of like a 30% gray, and I'm just painting now where that light is coming through and really popping against the shadow, and then painting that light onto the surface past the shadow. So that light that made it through the water drop is now hitting the surface past the shadow. Now I'm doing an opaque, just a normal layer, and getting it actually opaque along the edge. And pretty much at this point we've got the look established, and from here it's just all about kind of refining, making sure the shadows are looking right, and refining edges and that kind of thing. And you can do this with a pencil, like graphite pencil, and like white acrylic paint, or like a gel pen. You don't need to do this on like on a digital software. You can totally do it with traditional tools quite easily. The reason, I don't know if I mentioned, the reason that I'm doing everything on multiply and overlay basically is so that no matter what texture, and I did this over a texture to kind of show off what I'm talking about, no matter what texture we use here, we see through the water drop into the texture, and that really helps kind of to further sell the feeling of it being translucent. If we did this all with opaque, we'd be painting over the texture and killing off the texture as we went, and we'd get less of that look. Just doing a bit more refinements. I'm doing this with like a soft eraser because I'm trying to make sure that I want things to be pretty crisp, but I do want just that tiny subtle softness to it as well. Going in and doing a little gleam off of where the light's hitting. I'm using color dodge for that, and then also hitting down below where the light's passing through. And I think that basically wraps this one up. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications of further videos. Give this one a like, comment, let me know what you thought of it. Hopefully you learned something from it, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, ring the bell for notifications of future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.